A real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for spending some time with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Blessed and highly favored as always. Got a great lineup for you as well. We've got later on in the program, second half, we're going to be talking with Representative Berny Jacques. He is a local rep, Florida State representative. Going to talk about an interesting article, kind of story with Florida Medicaid spending on undocumented immigrants plummets after a new law, and Bernie was part of that law being enacted. Also in studio, we have Natacha Sanderson in studio with us. It's Staged to Sell Tampa Bay. We're going to talk about home staging and some of the creative ideas for marketing, also a real estate market update for you here on the program as well. And want to let you know about our next gratitude party. We do our monthly gratitude parties, third Thursday event. It's going to be over different location this time. Kingmakers is the new location. Compliments of Mike Murphy Auto Group. It's over on Carmen Street, 3707 West Carmen Street in Tampa. That's our gratitude party. Now, you are invited if you're a listener of our team or of our show. We're going to have our expert contributors there. And we had a great time over at Brio. Alex, we always have a good time over there. Brio Tuscan Grill, good times over there for our last party last week. That was a good time.
Yeah, man, good flatbreads.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome flatbreads. Good time, kind of sharing, networking, and just fellowship, talking to, the different expert contributors. Radio show listeners showed up again. So it's really cool to interact with the audience like that.
It was cool. And we have one of our guests in the studio today made an appearance. So maybe
That's right.
She can break down a little bit about, what she thought of the flatbreads as well.
What'd you think?
The flatbreads were excellent.
There you go. Exactly. Yeah. So we're going to talk home staging here coming up, in Natacha in studio with us as well. But don't forget, save the date. It's on the 18th, July 18th, 6 o'clock over at Kingmakers. It's 3707 West Carmen Street. And this one's going to be kind of a unique experience for you. It's a really unique setup. It's kind of a bar slash sports lounge there. He has a cooperative type workspace, work sharing space, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have our expert contributors, real estate team, other VIPs potentially coming into that. So come on out Thursday, July 18th, 6 o'clock over at Kingmakers for our gratitude party. All right, quick shout out to our friends at Royal Cleaning, Lee's Royal Services. He does a great job. Lee's Royal Services cleans our real estate properties, commercial, residential, home, and office cleaning. Lee's Royal Services. He also has handyman services available as well. Lee'sRoyalServices.com. You can find Lee and his team online at Lee'sRoyalServices.com. Make sure you let him know the real estate quarterback sent you. Take him up on special offers. He does a great job for us. He really does, and his team is super nice. Does a great job. He's doing a lot over at the Pinellas Realtor Organization as well, right there in Pinellas County Pro, working with other realtors and other affiliates as well. All right, a couple of hot listings here from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, 140 92nd Avenue in Treasure Island. Treasure Island, what a beautiful place. Little heaven on earth over there, Pinellas County. Beautiful property here as well. This is two renovated cottages on an oversized lot. Great investment opportunity, 140 92nd Avenue, Treasure Island, Florida. Two cottages, renovated, a block and a half from the beach. So you're close to the sugar sand beaches, dolphin-filled waters of the Gulf of Mexico. There's also a public boat launch there as well, just about a quarter mile down the road. Check out 140 92nd Avenue in Treasure Island. Beautiful property. 6101 Bayside Drive, Newport Richey. Taking you up to Pasco County here. We got another waterfront beauty. This one's beautiful. 5 bedrooms, 3 bath, 3852 square feet, quarter-acre lot. Lush palm trees, staircase with new glass panels, hurricane-grade windows and doors. You also have your own private boat dock. So bring your boat, bring your jet skis, enjoy the Florida lifestyle living to the fullest. You got a corner lot location and a great opportunity to own real estate here in Tampa Bay. Go on out into the Gulf of Mexico and access the sandy beaches, the world-class fishing, diving waters, and islands as well. You can see all of our real estate listings at PlatinumMVPTeam.com. KW.com. Check out PlatinumMVPTeam.KW.com. All right, we got Natacha back in studio representing Staged to Sell Tampa Bay. Welcome back in.
Thank you for having me again.
My pleasure. So what did when you think about the real estate market right now and home staging, what comes to mind? What are you hearing, kind of keeping your ear to the ground out there, I'm sure, talking to realtors?
I keep hearing from homeowners that the market is stale and nothing is moving, but that's not true. It actually is moving. We've had quite a few sales, quite a few movement. There's still people moving to the Bay Area.
Yep.
And there's a lot of people buying investment properties. So don't be scared.
Yeah.
List your homes.
Don't be scared. Get in now. And I think that's the mindset to have is kind of to be greedy when others are fearful when others are greedy. So when you think about it, it is a good time. And I think even on the buy side, you can argue that it's a great time to buy right now as well. Have you seen and heard that?
Yes. Excellent time to buy, but don't be greedy.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Greed is always a bad word in, business and finance. And, that kind of reminds me of the biblical, the love of money, not
Right.
money itself. But yeah, so when I think about buyers right now, they're able to get concessions. They're able to get seller concessions. They're able to get repairs made on homes. And you're able to negotiate a really good price. So I think it's a great time to get in. Rates did dip a little bit. So the rates are down just a tad bit. We're not mentioning, certain percentage rates or APR here. So the mortgage police won't come after us. But, in general, they have come down a little bit.
Yes,
right?
they have. Yeah.
Yeah. So you see that out there. Now tell us a little bit more about your company.
I like to walk in and kind of encourage people about making some of those soft and smooth changes instead of the rough and negative things.
Okay.
So, like yesterday, we had a consultation and we walked in. It was a little chaotic, 5 cats, a couple birds, a couple dogs, and a yoga studio.
Wow.
Or a Pilates studio, I'm not sure. And, when you're trying to stage a home that's an occupied home, you have challenges. And they're not necessarily moving out. They're not moving their animals. So, trying to encourage them, things that they're not using, maybe move those out, being very delicate with talking to homeowners. So there's just a fine way of talking.
And navigating those times, yeah. So a lot of pets in that house.
A lot of pets.
Yeah, that makes it a challenge. I've had some of those over the years.
But it didn't smell like pets.
Okay, well,
so
that's good.
That's encouraging. But when you talk about concessions, they talked about flooring. They have a lot of carpet. Well, the cats like to go ahead and pick at the doorways. So now you've got these transitions, and you've got the tack strips.
Right.
So what do? Do you rip up the whole carpet? Do you offer your buyer, a $10,000
flooring allowance?
Yeah, flooring allowance. Or do you try to put a transition strip down so that way it gets ignored?
Transition strip.
What do you do? So you try to come up with a creative solution. So you kind of talk it through.
Right. Talk it through it. Look at the budget. It all comes down to that seller's, bottom line, and if they have reserves or not.
Yeah. I mean, taking up one room of carpet and putting down an LVP or a tile is so much cheaper than giving somebody a $10,000 allowance.
Right.
Also, cleaning your floors is so much cheaper than giving somebody an allowance.
Yeah.
So it's taking care of those little things and encouraging them to look at the numbers instead of, the big picture and how much work it is.
Right. Now, Natacha, when you look at the days on market are enemy to a home's value. What are you seeing in your industry? Because I know there's stats out there showing significant reduction in days on market when you do work with a professional home stager.
Yeah. So, before we saw things fly off the market within 10 days. And for us, escrow period was about 45 days. So we gave, staging for 60. Now I'm seeing agents ask for 90 days. A lot of them aren't being used. Some are, and I'm seeing the condo market is the one that's getting hit the hardest.
Yes.
HOA fees and, silent fees that you are not aware of until you go to the closing table or you're getting closer to the end of inspection period when things are a little bit more out in the open and disclosed.
Right. Yeah, I had a conversation recently as well with an expired listing. I think it was either an expired or canceled listing. And there was a situation where the board members of this particular condo, 2 or 3 of them got together and sold to immediately. They sold because they knew what was coming. They saw the writing on the wall. So this whole thing was Surfside. The Surfside business building collapse down in the Miami area. What happened is now they're having to do these intermediary type reports and inspections, and if the board member sees that they may fail one of those, that could cause for a large assessment. Right. And those assessments can be in the thousands, hundreds of thousands, and more. And what happens is now that risk or that cost is spread out amongst 100 or 300, 500 members that are in that association. So it could cause a significant increase in your overall holding cost of that condo. And then now it's throwing off a lot of the debt ratios of the buyers.
Right.
Yeah. So you're seeing that scenario play out or hearing that. And I think that's what you see with the condo market right now.
Well, and I walked into a condo yesterday. We had another consultation, and I asked, what's your selling point? What's your price point? Just trying to know what I need to bring in to help the seller.
Yep.
And when I heard what the HOA fees were, it was just astronomical.
Right.
$1,080 a month.
Yes.
And I said, what kind of amenities do we have here? Of course, the amenities were a long list. So.
Right. What does that include? So for the $1,000 a month, are we covering the roof? Are we covering the insurances? Do you have a pool? Do you have shuffleboard? Do you have et cetera, et cetera?
Right. And they had a long laundry list and, private security, private elevator to their floor. The roof was covered. General maintenance was covered. So there was a lot of things that were covered. But, when you don't know what's covered, that $1,000 seems like a lot.
Right. Yeah, exactly. We've had some that were, I've sold the penthouse over at the Meridian on Sand Key before, and that was a unit that had, it was up there as far as the dollars, but, hey, what all does that include?
Right.
So I think when you really break that down, if you have a sophisticated buyer and you break that down and you look at, wow, that's a lot of things that are covered for $1,000 a month. That's $12,000 a year. It's really not that bad of a number for that, that caliber of a buyer.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So you take all those things into consideration, into account. Natacha, we're going to take a quick break here. We're talking with Natacha Sanderson, Staged to Sell Tampa Bay, consumer quarterback show powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. We'll be right back more with Natacha. Also, we have a feel-good story of the day, kind of an interesting one. Strangers crowdfund $54,000 for a 22-year-old mom who's fighting cancer and needs more time with her baby. We'll be right back here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show powered by the Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. We've got the Natacha Sanderson in studio, Staged to Sell Tampa Bay. If you're selling a property, we recommend that you do stage it. So we would love for you to talk to our local area business owners, expert contributors, reach out to the show hotline. We'd love to put you in touch. You can go to consumerqb.com, see all of our expert contributors there at consumerqb.com. Thank you so much for supporting the local economy as well by supporting the Consumer Quarterback Show and all of our expert contributors. Feel good story coming up here in just a minute. Strangers crowdfund $54,000 for a mother who's fighting cancer. We also have a couple of hot property listings here I want to let you know about. 18522 Gulf Boulevard, Unit F. And this is kind of the ones that we kind of, with that, what we were just talking about, Natacha, when you look at this property here, this one's 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,000 square feet, and it's a beachfront condo. You're on the beach side. You're not walking across the street to get to the beach. You're on the beach. This one has 2-car parking area. And one of the best things about it, $250 a month, $250 a month for your fees. Unbelievably low. This is $1 million listing on the beach. And if you look out your balcony to the right, you've got the Intercoastal Waterways, Tom Stewart Causeway there, and Indian Shores. And if you look out to the left, of course, you're looking at the Gulf of Mexico there. So beautiful property. And another kicker for this property is there is no short-term rental restrictions on this property. So it's a great opportunity here. 18522 Gulf Boulevard, Unit F. We just did a price reduction this morning. So please check this one out. It's $1 million listing on the beach. Beautiful, beautiful condo. 3101 Old Archer Road. We've got 90 units, luxury condos, pre-construction luxury condos in Gainesville, Florida. So where are my Gator fans, my UF alumni? Pre-construction homes, you're getting 10% off here on these condos, starting in the 400s up to the high 900s. You got penthouses available. Now, the developer here has built Four Seasons hotels, some very high-end luxury buildings across the globe. This one's a resort-style temperature-controlled pool that has cabanas and grills. You got a gourmet kitchen in the clubhouse overlooking the pool, spacious business center, private theater room, and you're 1.5 miles from the University of Florida. And you can go up there and watch the Gator games. You can send your kids to school, rent it out. Great opportunity, 3101 Old Archer Road, Gainesville, Florida. And you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, quick shout out to our friends at Divine Balance Alternative Healing. So my massage therapist, 4 years ago, I had a double bypass heart surgery. And stress is a number one killer. You've got to think about taking the stress out of your life, minimizing the stress. You can do that here and support the local economy by supporting Divine Balance Alternative Healing.com, the website divinebalancealternativehealing.com. That's Christina. She's my therapist. She does a great job. They've got massage, Reiki, the different Thai yoga, reflexology, the essential oils, all types of good stuff going on there. divinebalancealternativehealing.com. All right, feel good story of the day.
Tell me something good.
All right, strangers crowdfund $54,000 for this 22-year-old mom with cancer, and she wanted more time with her baby. That's how it came about. She's a young Northern Irish mother. Rachel Burns was diagnosed with an aggressive brain tumor and given only 4 months to live. Determined to spend more time with her 1-year-old daughter, Burns and her partner started a GoFundMe page and raised money for an experimental treatment in Germany. The community rallied behind them, exceeding their initial goal and giving Burns hope for more time with her family. So, yeah, kind of a feel-good, but kind of a downer a little bit. We were talking about that one before the show. But, Alex, when you think about these technologies today, hey, there could be a possibility she pull out of it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the positive spin on that was that people rallied to try to raise money because you're going through. It's not arguable. It is the most detrimental and just horrible time in that person's life, and all they're thinking about is the last thing you need is to worry about financial woes and stress. So the fact that humans didn't completely suck and came together
exactly
and rallied and gave some money, but so prayers to that family and and everybody else.
That's right. Yep. Prayers to that family. And let's go back to our local area expert contributor. We've got Natacha Sanderson in studio. Staged to Sell Tampa Bay. Online, stagedtoselltb.com is the site. Talk to me a little bit about some of the creative ideas as well. When we're selling real estate today, it is a tougher market than it was. It's a little bit softer, kind of trending towards a balanced market, maybe even considered a buyer's market at some point here in the near future. But what are some of the more creative ideas that you're seeing and that you've utilized?
A lot of wallpaper is coming back, actually.
Okay.
So peel and stick wallpaper. Do it. Get bold. Have fun with it.
Peel and stick the wallpaper.
And stick wallpaper, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So what kind of patterns are you seeing? What do you want to stay away from? What do you want to be cautious of?
I don't know. You know what?
Polka dots?
Polka dots are fun.
Really?
Yeah.
Could be.
But you know what? Instead of doing the wallpaper, just get a paintbrush.
Okay. Yeah, because you could always paint over it. Wallpaper is a little bit tougher.
Especially if your wall has a lot of imperfections, go for it.
Yeah.
Have some fun with it.
Right.
Be creative.
Yeah.
At the
and
end
then
of
put
the
a
day,
bold color with it.
It's your home at the end of the day, right? So I mean,
it is your home, but Pinterest is a great place to start.
No doubt.
Get ideas there.
Pin some pages and get creative and try to do it.
I may be a closet Pinterest user. I think Pinterest is pretty awesome.
There you go.
Yeah, there's a lot of great ideas on there.
Well, there's a lot of different boards you can save too.
No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah. We post on Pinterest. We do have a page out there on Pinterest. So one more place to post too, as a business owner.
Yeah, absolutely. Get an LTK page too. If you find something that you really like, you encourage your friends to go ahead and buy it. Make some money off of it.
LTK page.
Yeah.
What is that?
I'm
First
not
time
sure
hearing
what
about
it
that.
actually stands
They're kind of like
for.
Etsy, where you put your online shop.
It's when you become some sort of a contributor where you have social media stance.
Okay.
You put your likes out there. People can purchase, and you get money back on the backside.
Look at that.
That's cool.
Informing the Tampa Bay users right now, the consumers.
Oh yeah.
New product there.
Well, talk to me too about with the Airbnb market too. What do you see in the Airbnb for some of the owners?
Oh, there's a lot of changes in the rules. But you know what? You were talking about your Archer listing right there. And as far as I'm aware, that's a great opportunity for people to do some short-term rentals investing there.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, when you think about the opportunity of having the school season, so you have the school, semesters, and then also the football seasons, the baseball, basketball, that school has been on fire with their sports. I don't know if you followed that lately, but they were in the I think they might have had the softball team up there, the baseball team, basketball did well.
Yeah.
So UF, Florida Gators are doing well. Give us final thoughts. So we're coming into our last couple minutes here. When people think about home staging, why do you want them to work with you, or what makes you different? Why would they want to work with you?
I like to bring in the textures, and I like to be honest and completely transparent with people. I don't hide anything, and I focus on the smaller details, like the light switches that maybe have a crack in it, or, ivory and white switches, change those out, clean it up a little bit, clean your front door, change the handle. Just little changes when you first approach the home is what's going to help you sell it ultimately.
Right.
Because when buyers come up to your front door and they start seeing things wrong, they're going to start questioning what else inside the house is wrong.
Right.
What have they not taken care of?
Yeah.
So if you take care of those small details at the very front of the home, they tend to ignore some of the other things inside.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm not telling you to put lipstick on a pig.
Right.
Clean up your home, fix it up, do right. But, pay attention to the smaller details.
Yeah, the details are key, especially that opening, that curb appeal, that initial first impression is a key element of it.
Put some mulch down, pull the weeds.
Yep. Pop some flowers in there.
Change the light bulbs, clean the mud dubbers.
Yep. That's a big one. Pressure wash it.
Yeah.
Get it pressure washed, get it staged, get it ready to go. Visit staged2selltb.com, staged2selltb.com. Also on Instagram, / Tampa Bay Home Staging as well. Natacha Sanderson, Staged to Sell Tampa Bay. Thanks for coming in, and any other coordinates you want people to know where to go?
No, I appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming in. We appreciate that as well. And Staged to Sell Tampa Bay. Staging is a key. In Gary Keller's book, Millionaire Real Estate Agent, a lot of people think about that as the Bible of real estate. He wrote it, a decade ago, is that, it says when it talks about staging, it's not when or if, it's you must stage. You have to stage the home. You got to make it look the best because you get that first impression, and that's going to help you sell. Natacha, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, coming up, Representative Berny Jacques. Representative Berny Jacques on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're going to talk about some current events happening in the state of Florida. Also, legislation that he helped pass. Coming up here on the show, follow us online, Brandon Rhymes 1 CQB Show, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll be right back. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show.
Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. Coming up, Representative Berny Jacques, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're going to be talking with him about a recent bill that just passed, and also more local news coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Before we do, a couple of hot listings here. We like to feature our real estate properties live on air. I got a property here at 4931 Northeast, it's 22nd Terrace in Ocala. This is one of my repeat sellers. Great guy, awesome seller here. 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, 2,032 square feet in Ocala. It's a highly sought after neighborhood. No HOA here as well. The kitchen is a chef's delight. Plenty of cabinetry and storage as well. You have fireplace. Beautiful property. Lighter color kitchen as well. 4931 Northeast 22nd Terrace, Ocala, Florida. We also have a property in Newport Richey. This one's 4501 Garnett Drive, Newport Richey, Pasco County. Just did a price improvement. Owner is motivated here. Let's make a deal on it. 2 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, 2215 square feet, 4501 Garnett Drive. You have on the canal. You have canal frontage. You have 15 by 30 family room, large family room there. Large treed courtyard. Also, just a great amenities to this association as well. Waterfront community clubhouse. You have a heated pool, tennis courts, private community boat ramp as well. Plenty of parking. 4501 Garnett Drive, Newport Richey, Florida. And you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
This is God's country.
All right, Representative Jacques, Berny Jacques, back on the program. Bernie, thanks so much for spending some time with us, sir.
Hey, Brandon. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. Yeah, so let's jump right into it. Let's see. I got an interesting article pulled up. It's Florida Medicaid spending on undocumented immigrants plummets after new law, and I believe you were part of that law. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So that was one of the first bills that I got across the finish line in my first session as a member of the Florida House of Representatives. And this was our bill that cracked down on illegal immigration. It made national news. It is by far the strongest crackdown on illegal immigration as far as any state has taken. We passed that in 2023, and now we're starting to see the effects of it. And one of the effects is that we have seen spending plummet when it comes to taxpayer-subsidized spending on medical care for illegal aliens.
Yeah, it shows a 54% decrease in expenditures last year. You have a decrease from $148.4 million the year before the law to $67 million so far this year.
Right, and so there's no way it's going to get to that anywhere near that $148.4 million that we spent last fiscal year, and this fiscal year is set to end at the end of this month. Right, so this goes to show you that we made a strong improvement when it comes to illegal immigration and saving taxpayer dollars. And the interesting thing about this bill is that we have a provision in that bill that went into law that has hospitals request patients who are coming into hospital, if they accept Medicaid, whether or not they are legal or not. And that portion of the bill, for me, initially, it was for data gathering. Really wanted to get a grasp of the issue, to know how many illegal aliens. We know it's happening, but we wanted really to drill down as far as what the numbers look like. But the other aspects of the bill is what's really, in addition to contributing to this low spending from taxpayer dollars on illegal aliens, because we had a lot of different measures that crack down. So when you look at the package, the additional things that we did is we implemented mandatory E-Verify for businesses here in Florida. So now employers have to vet their people through the E-Verify system to make sure that they're in the country legally. We also increased the penalty for human smuggling. We prohibited counties, municipalities, local governments from issuing IDs to illegal aliens. We invalidated any kind of driver's license that's been issued to an illegal alien from an out-of-state entity. And we require illegal aliens who are now in custody to submit their DNA, so they will be in the Florida's DNA database, and many more. But all of those things, in addition to the question that has to be asked now, if you're in this country legally, if you're seeking care in a hospital that accepts Medicaid, put a lot of illegals on notice. Because one of the biggest things when you have open borders, when you have the open Biden borders, is to take away the incentives for them to come into your state, because they're here. We know they're here, right? The gates are wide open. So states have to get to work to make sure that they remove the incentive so that they're not coming into our state. And that's what happened when we passed a strong measure that DeSantis signed into law. And I was proud to work on this in the House with my colleague, Representative Michael. Senator Blaise Ngolia in the Senate carried it in the Senate, and the governor signed it, and we sent a strong message. So less illegals are coming here, and as a result, you're seeing less taxpayer dollars being spent on illegal health services.
Absolutely, as it should be. And if you just joined us, we're talking with Representative Berny Jacques here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. And Bernie, I want to talk more local news, but I want to make sure I get this in. We've got a big debate this week. It's probably going to be CNN's best ratings of the century. What's your preview? What's your thoughts? I mean, a lot of the original, the initial talk is, will Trump be treated fairly? And we probably know he won't.
Yeah, well, we already know that, right? They're not going to treat them fairly. The moderators have already been on record of being very anti-Trump. The clips are plentiful as far as their anti-Trump rhetoric. But he's going to go there and he's going to speak to the American people in this debate as far as his vision for the country. And I imagine he's going to highlight how well we're doing during his 4 years compared to a drastic change now under Biden, where you have Biden inflation, you have the open borders, you're having endless wars. These are the things that he's going to have to contrast, and he will. The thing about it is it's going to be him against all of them, right? So everybody's going to be Team Biden except Trump there. And so we know he's got that tough hill to climb in that sense. But if anyone can do it, it's him. He's full of energy. I mean, this is a man who's been out campaigning. He's been meeting the people, talking to the American people, doing podcasts, doing interviews, while Biden has been holed up now for a week or so, preparing for this debate. Nowhere to be seen as our quote unquote commander in chief. And so you're going to see a stark difference. Of course, we know Biden's lacking energy. We'll see, what they give him to make him seem like he has energy, which begs the question of whether or not there should be a drug test. I think there should be. We should know whether or not these candidates are on any performance enhancement substances. And I think if you see Biden is energetic all of a sudden, the guy's on something.
Oh man, he's on something, just like his son is on something. They're both on some controlled substance. We can tell you can just tell the difference there between the two Bidens. But it's unbelievable to see how that's playing out. I saw a tweet that you had tweeted to. You rallied with pro-life patriots at the Florida Voice for the Unborn second annual Dobbs Day banquet this evening. It's an interesting stat. I've got a quick clip I want to play from the morning wire. It talked about the sound of hope and the amount of children that are being that are there for adoption, but just the red tape, the challenges with adoption. It's one of the areas that really hit close to my heart. Is so before my wife and I had our beautiful baby boy, who's now like 29 months old, we had went through the classes. We registered for foster. We were going to bring in foster kids with the idea of adopting. But here's a clip I want to talk about and bring this to the show here.
Joe Nittig is the CEO of the Global Orphan Project and founder of Care Portal. That's a platform that connects churches to kids in need. He was also an executive producer on Sound of Hope, and he broke down some of the statistics for me.
Every year in the United States, even though we pour about 30 billion taxpayer dollars into child welfare, there are more than 7 million children, that's more than 4 million families that are referred to Child Protective Services. So these are families at the front door of the system. And there are nearly 400,000 children that are in foster care right now.
So that seems like a need where you have so many families that want to bring people into their home and have the resources to do so, but it just seems like there's so much red tape out there, Bernie. Any thoughts on that?
Exactly. You're completely correct. There are a lot of families who are ready and willing, but there are a lot of barriers, unnecessary, excessive barriers. One of my colleagues, Representative Abbott from the Panhandle, this is an issue he's been working on in the Florida legislature. And this is something that I've been working on as well. One of the bills that I got passed this session that ended earlier this year is House Bill 415. The governor signed it into law, so it's now going into effect. Is the Pregnancy and Parenting Resources website. So this is a bill that was brought to me by some just ordinary citizens who wanted to promote the culture of life here in our state, modeling it after what South Dakota had done prior and years prior. But basically, this is a centralized website. It's a one-stop shop that provides expectant parents with all the resources they would need to bring a life into our state. And we're talking about everything from financial resources, social services, health screenings, parenting classes, and even things on fatherhood and mentorship. But to address your question, we also made sure to explicitly say that the website has to have resources on adoption as well. And we need to make sure that system is streamlined and that expectant parents who may not be in a position to raise a child know about the services of adoption and how they can initiate that process. And certainly families in need as well, that will be a resource to them. So this is one small step in that direction where we bring all the information together, we aggregate them, because the information is out there, but it's on all different type of sites. And It might be in multiple different state websites, but this will be one standalone website where you have all of the resources there, and adoption will definitely be a top feature on the site.
Yeah, absolutely. That's such a great way to do it, a smart way to do it. Have the resources there, and allow the families. Let's reduce the red tape. Let's incentivize even the families to bring these kids into a proper home. We know it all starts with the youth. It's such a key element is bringing those kids up right, teaching them the right way and the wrong way, God's way. The family, the intelligent design, Bernie, and I think that's such a key element when you think about that. Now, insurance-wise, I wanted to go to the topic of insurance. I get this one a lot, being in real estate. Of course, my wife Lindsay and I own a team at Keller Williams Realty, a top 100 ranked team. And when you think about insurance, it's big. One of the biggest challenges that we're facing right now in the state. Interest rates hiked up a little bit, causing a little bit of a stir, a little softening in the market. But insurance is right there with that conversation.
Absolutely. Insurance continues to be a top issue that I hear from my constituents, whether it's when I'm going door to door or calls to the office. And so it's certainly something we're continuing to work on and have our eyes on. But what I will tell your listeners is that we did do a reform back in December of 2022, and you're starting to see some of the effects now. And it was actually the first legislative act, that I had to do as a first-term member. So I got elected in November. That December, we're called up for a special session addressing property insurance. And what we did is we cracked down on a lot of the excessive litigation, a lot of the fraud that was in the system that was pushing companies out of our state. They were no longer writing policies because, it was just a shakedown in a lot of situations. So what you're seeing is when we passed that bill, we were told that it would be about an 18-month runway time for you to start seeing some of the effects, because we have to stabilize the market. And the goal is to have carriers come back to the state and write policies again. And you're starting to see that. By my latest count, there's around 7 to 8 new companies that are now writing policies in the state of Florida. And the goal is when they're competitive, they can compete for your business, and prices can start decreasing and stabilizing. We're not where we want to be, admittedly, but we're seeing some signs in the right direction. I was actually at an event with another representative last week, and 3 people at the event had said that they've seen either decreases or their rate didn't go up. That's unheard of.
Nice.
I haven't heard that in a while. So there are some silver linings that we are seeing, but it's not time to take our eye off the ball, because we need to make sure that we stand by our consumers, because that's who is bearing the brunt right now, and especially in the age of high inflation, the Biden inflation. You add this on top of it, we don't want ordinary people to be priced out here in the free state of Florida. So this is something that my office is committed to working on every single day.
Yeah, absolutely. Great job out there, Bernie, the hardest working man, one of the hardest working men in politics. I see you on your Instagram. You're out there door knocking, you're meeting constituents, you're going to meetings, you're going to businesses. You're out there working hard and representing the people. We appreciate you, man.
Well, thank you, Brandon. I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. My pleasure. All right. Thank you so much, Bernie. All right, that's Representative Berny Jacques. Check him out online and find him on Instagram as well. Does a great job on his post out there as well. We're going to take a quick break. More coming up here. Alex Black Belt Lima in the house, and we're going to talk about local things happening here, summer camp going on here in Tampa Bay, and more coming up on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Follow us online. We'd love to connect with you at Brandon Rhymes 1 at CQB Show, as well as our Rumble channel and of course, the YouTube. Really appreciate you supporting us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show.
Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here in studio with Alex Black Belt Lima, Consumer Quarterback Show. Quick shout out to our friends over at Solar Bear. If you're considering solar on your home, we'd highly recommend Solar Bear and their team. We have a great team. Mr. Ambrester and his team do a great job. I've got 54 panels on my roof, and I really like solar. I like the idea of harnessing the photovoltaic energy from the sun. SolarBear.com. Check them out online, SolarBear.com. Talk to Blake Ambrester. Let him know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Take them up on special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, we got a couple of hot listings here. 7919 New York Avenue. This one's in Hudson. We actually have 3 listings on New York Avenue in Hudson. So if you are looking in that area, we'd love to talk to you about it. This one's 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,300 square foot. You got a versatile commercial property that can also double as a comfortable residence. It's located on a 0.33 acre lot facing Route 19. In Hudson. It's zone C1 per Pasco County Public Records. Dedicated business office, making it ideal for entrepreneurs who want the convenience of working from home. Really cool opportunity there. 7919 New York Avenue in Hudson, Florida. 7325 Skybird Road. This one's in Bradenton, Florida, Manatee County. Beautiful property here. 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, 1-car garage. Now, you have an open floor plan, 20 square foot condo with lake views. One of the really cool amenities here is that you have 81-foot style, lagoon style heated pool and community pool there. Clubhouse, fitness center, catering, kitchen. You have a lot of updates and upgrades that have recently been done here on this property. 7325 Skybird Road, number 399 in Bradenton. And you can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road.
All right, Alex Lima's in the house. I thought we would talk a little bit about negotiation here, Alex. You know, I love to teach those classes. I'm teaching a class coming up at Pro. That's the Pinellas Realtor Organization. It's going to be over in on Ormerton Road in Pinellas County, right there in Pinellas County. So I like to speak about, negotiation strategies, how to win with sellers is one of the things I like to do, man.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Let's do it. Negotiate. I kind of have an idea where this is going.
Yeah.
Well, go first, and then I'll give my thought on it. I have an idea of where this is going.
One of the things I would mention here, and I get a lot of my strategies and theories from Chris Voss. He's an FBI hostage negotiator. He was on our show. He wrote several books. He's really, the authority in negotiation from a lot of people's opinion. But there's something called a calibrated question. So much like when you're calibrating a rifle in, right? You're going to calibrate it in based on, did I shoot high? Did I shoot low on the bullseye, right? So when you think about calibrated questions, and one of the questions that I would just open up and ask is, who's in control of the conversation, the person talking or the person listening? Well, it's actually the listener, right? It's a little bit counterintuitive there. So your goal when you're asking these open-ended questions, and they are open-ended, is that you want to suspend unbelief. So you want to help with clarification. Now, words that you don't want to use are words like can, is, are, do, or does. Because if you say those words, it's going to be a short, quick little answer. You don't want that. You want them talking. So the best way to have an open-ended conversation and a dialogue is to have questions start with what or how, right? So what do you hope to accomplish from this? How would we do that? How do you want me to do that? And you very rarely want to use, and you want to really avoid the word why. When you say why, what is the person going to do, Alex? If you're negotiating with somebody and you say why.
Well, it depends on the context of the the conversation. But if you say why, well, then, they're going to start digging in their memory banks, and then they're going to start,
bingo. They're going to get defensive, right?
Yeah.
They're going to dig in and get defensive. So you really want to stay away from why, and then you only use why when the defensiveness that it creates a benefit in your favor. So why would you ever change the way from what you've always done and try my approach?
Yeah.
Right. So that's flipping it on them. So kind of an interesting way to look at it there. And there's one also that says, instead of telling someone that you can't leave the negotiation table, change it to what would you hope to achieve by going.
Okay.
Right? So it's a lot about the way that you answer or you phrase these questions. And the main number one idea is you want to have open-ended questions. You want them to be able to talk more than you, right? You ever hear that one?
Yeah.
The person listening?
Yeah, you want to develop have them, it depends if we're talking like a sales tactic, versus, which exactly, anytime you're having a conversation, like Chris Voss, for example, when he's doing a hostage situation or whatever, it's a, you're building a rapport. It's the same thing as you're trying to sell yourself as someone that is trustworthy in this scenario, and why you should listen to me and not go off the deep end, right? And it's the same thing about when you're trying to make a sale or build a potential client, or even when you're you meet a girl and you're trying to you're selling yourself as someone that she should go on a date with you or whatever, right? So but what it sounds like a lot. What my first thought on all of that is, it sounds like someone that is proficient in this is proficient in being able to calibrate and measure the amount of emotion they're bringing out of the individual from in the scenario.
Right.
So, for example, like getting somebody defensive, because we can ask questions that you want to control the emotional vibe of the conversation.
Yeah, you want to keep
because if they get defensive, they're not even angry, but just defensive, or where they don't want to deal with you. You know. It's a lot of, it's psychological, and usually psychology comes down to I don't want to say manipulation, but what it is, it's control, manipulation of the emotions in the conversation.
That's exactly what this is, calibrated questions. So there you have it. There's our calibrated questions. Remember, use what and how, and stay away from why. Those are the questions to ask. What and how, and stay away from why. Alex, good stuff, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, brother.
All right, hey, another great show. We had Natacha Sanderson, Staged to Sell Tampa Bay, Representative Berny Jacques here in Tampa Bay, and of course Alex Black Belt Lima, always helping us out here on air and as a producer. He's got a summer camp going on too. Check him out as well. And please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. And we'll see you next time here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.